Hi there, good morning. Just doing this quick video here. Something's come to my attention today. I'm on a channel called Chancer, who's been covering the SHAUNATTWOOD episodes and debacle and all that kind of nonsense, and covering it very well with all the facts. And just seen a video on there this morning that he's uploaded saying somebody's been arrested. This person's been arrested. The headline reads, "Child kidnapped at Knifepoint before being rescued by armed police on the motorway. The child, aged under 10, was bundled into a silver Citroen Picasso in Anglesey in North Wales and driven 200 miles to Milton Keynes, Buckinghamshire, say police." Now, the person who's kidnapped, who's involved in this, is Mr. Wilfred Wong. He appeared on the SHAUNATTWOOD channel several times with his satanic abuse bullshit. People have suspicions and had doubts about this, him and what he's preaching, everything else. This is another thing, conspiracy theorists gone mad. I believe SHAUNATTWOOD said he's been on a mission, a rescue mission. They've pulled a child out of somebody's house at Knifepoint. 6 people involved, 6 have been arrested with charges of kidnapping, and Wong has also been charged with possessing a knife. I'll read the article. It's shocking. I'm shocked. A child aged under 10 was allegedly kidnapped at Knifepoint and driven 200 miles before being rescued by armed police on a motorway. The unnamed child was bundled into a silver Citroen Picasso in Anglesey, North Wales, and driven all the way to Milton Keynes, Buckinghamshire, before police caught up with the car, it is claimed. Dramatic dashcam video from police shows officers boxing in a car on a motorway. 3 vehicles from Northamptonshire armed response vehicle team cornered the car, which allegedly displayed false number plates, near to the Newport Pagnell Junction 15 on the M1. I know where that is. 4 men were arrested at the scene, with a further 2 since have been detained in Wales, said police. 6 people were charged with kidnap and 1 was charged with possession of a bladed article. The child was returned safe and unharmed just hours after the allegedly kidnapping, that should be alleged kidnapping, which detectives claim was an isolated incident and not a stranger attack. North Wales Police issued a plea for information about an alleged child abduction in Gerwen on Anglesey. The typing in this is very bad spellings. In Anglesey, that should be, on the afternoon of November 4th. Detective Chief Superintendent Gareth Evans saluted the part of Northamptonshire officers played in the incident. Wilfred Wong, 55, of Camden, North London, was among the 6 charged. The boy was rescued by armed police in Milton Keynes, and there's a photograph there. I'll put the screenshots. He said, "This has been a frightening incident for those involved. Our focus throughout has been to recover the child safe and well. I am happy to report that this was achieved, and I would like to thank our colleagues in Northamptonshire for their service and assistance. 6 adults who were arrested in connection with the incident have all been charged with kidnap. One of them is also being charged with possession of a bladed knife." Repeats itself 3 times. Detective Inspector Chris Bell said earlier, "Thankfully, the child was recovered safe and well by our colleagues in Northamptonshire after excellent early investigation work by the North Wales colleagues," he added. "We would like to reiterate that this was an isolated incident and not a stranger attack. All 6 suspects appeared at Llandudno Magistrates Court on Monday." Prosecutor James Neary said the defendants are alleged to have unlawfully and by force or fraud taken or carried away a child against his will. Wilfred Wong, 55, was also charged with the knife. The other defendants are Jane Claire Going-Hill, 59, of Holyhead, Robert Frith, 65, a former psychiatric nurse at Holyhead, Ank Hill, 50, of Holyhead, Edward Stevenson, 68, of Crawley, West Sussex, and Jane Stevenson, 66, a charity counsellor from Crawley. They were the others charged. I think that's it. That's all it says. Any more down here? go through all the adverts, don't you, in these reports now? Before you see the rest of the... I think that's it. I think that's enough. So this is quite shocking, really, what these people are capable of. You're going to hear all stories, going to divide the crowd again. People are going to say, he was on a mission, the girl was being abused, it's a satanic family. You're going to hear all this shit, where, you know, the law is the law, and they are charged with kidnapping with an offensive weapon at Knifepoint, a child, 6 adults involved. So whatever their reasoning, it's not acceptable anyway. You know, things come out eventually. I had my doubts about this guy as well, absolutely off the scale with his nonsense and his sickening talk, and SHAUNATTWOOD laps it up and feeds it to his vulnerable and gullible guests who think they're awake adults and learning all this stuff, and you know, they're on top of everything and we know it all. They've been fed the absolute most outrageous, disgusting bullshit, filthying people's minds, scaring young people, scaring everybody to death. It's really affecting people badly, all this nonsense, and it needs to stop, really. Thanks for listening. But I thought I'd get this out as it's quite important. You know, even if the child was returned safe and well, the trauma from that, you know, rescue mission by the armed police surrounded the vehicle on the motorway, that must have been terrifying. That will stay in that child's head for a long time. That's traumatic enough. I mean, even for an adult, when you see the presence of police and they're all so big and they've got all these things and the uniform, and especially if they're armed, they've got all this kit and equipment, and, you know, you see them with loads of equipment. It looks very intimidating, very scary. Even, you know, as an adult, I find it intimidating anyway. Very, like, definitely stick in your mind for a long time. So thanks to Chancer for uploading this and bringing it to people's attention. Very well done. This needs to get out, and more people it needs to get round, it needs to get out urgently. People need to know what's going on with these absolute sick people who are saying they're fighting for the good, and they're just leading everyone down. I've said this over and over again, leading down people dark alleys to nowhere and keeping them in a state of depression and absolute terror. And I know a lot of people who are in this state of mind because of what's been said, you know, the likes of SHAUNATTWOOD and some of his guests. It's terrible. And then getting paid for it, taking people's hard-earned money as well. Whew.
Perverts, rapists, paedophiles, stalkers, thieves, charlatans, child porn producers and distributors, satanists, narcissists, conmen, prostitutes, benefits granders, fantasists, drug addicts, sadists, parasites, plaguers, mentally ill, bullies, abusers, harassers, cockroaches and bloodsuckers. These are types of people running rampant in the alternative UFO communities. This is what they are. Some have even been to prison for these things. There's a UFO conference in June, I believe. Top 5 people: paedophile, convicted, fantasist, conman, deluded, convicted, prison. Second speaker: benefits grandeur, fraud, using 50 different names, conman, fantasist, proven, prison, suspected paedophile, an abuser, and conman, and a liar. Number 4, suspected paedophile, abuser, monster, harasser. The worst of the worst, scumbag. Number 5, abuser, harasser, plagiarist, thief, charlatan, porn distributor, and I don't know what connections they have, but they've got big connections in porn. They're just the top 6 speakers I looked at this conference, being held above all places at a children's school. They hire out functionally 2 people. I've been researching for years now. I didn't bother coming to any of the communities. I did my own research, but since I did my interviews with Miles Johnston, I've got to know certain people, got to know the circuit, got to know, looked in a bit more, digged a bit more, dug I should say, dug a bit more.